So I will be very brief. What I want to do is just to try and draw out some of the key reflections of the last few days, because I know that you've had an incredibly varied and rich discussion, and I particularly enjoyed this last panel. Secretary Saab, you're a revelation. Fantastic comments there, and bringing some of the realpolitik to the conversation. So let me just recap. Yesterday, our High Commissioner, Andrew Dalgleish, asked us all to think about making 3 simple commitments. And these were a commitment from each political party to implement 1 hour of reading a day for every child, a national learning assessment with progress on early grade literacy, and then for all political parties to provide a practical and budgeted commitment to safe, accessible and free transport to and from school. So some really interesting ideas there, and I hope you've had the chance to discuss them. As I say, I'm going to focus on some of the key reflections that you've all been coming up with over the last few days, and which I think can help bring about perhaps those 3 commitments, but also others to a reality. I've got 8. Bear with me, but I will be brief. So the first reflection is that donors should stand behind government. That there is no sustainable public policy reform that can be imposed externally. And just to thank the Honourable Deputy Chairman of the Senate for pointing this out and reiterating that point. This is for Pakistan and for Pakistan's leadership to take forward. And there's nothing that we as donors can do to impose anything. But what we can do is stand behind you and support you in your own conclusions and commitments. The second reflection I've got is the need to accelerate the shift in focus from access to education to quality education. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the quality of learning over the last couple of days. And in particular, the importance of this here and now because of the dropout rates. With so many children out of school in Pakistan, Kim was telling me earlier that the number is now estimated to be 27 million children out of school here, accounting for the COVID pandemic and the floods as well. I mean, so anything we can do to make sure that space at school is a valued space, that parents value it, that the children are getting something out of it, that is so important. The third reflection I've got is an admission that we need to not only design interventions well, but also to implement them well and at scale and in a sustainable way. And as someone who comes from a donor, a development organisation, which FCDO is, this is really important. We can spend a lot of time, sometimes years, designing interventions, and then we forget to really, really see them through, adapt during the implementation. The fourth reflection I have is that teaching at the right level and early childhood education are cost-effective interventions that can help shift the dial in terms of learning. And we know this deeply in the UK. We have had early years education in fits and starts in the UK, but all the evidence shows that when you get it right, it sets children up for the rest of their lives. And that's true in the UK, it's true in Pakistan. The fifth reflection I have is the need to align the curriculum, teaching and examinations. And I know that there's been quite a bit of discussion about data sharing, data systems, ensuring that departments who are involved speak to each other properly across those information sharing systems, that there are feedback loops allowing you to plan and implement and iterate education interventions. So that whole piece around data is incredibly important. The sixth reflection is the value of political support from across the spectrum, including Parliament, to catalyse system reforms and to make them stick. And we heard from Parliamentary Secretary Manaz and other parliamentarians, didn't we, about why it's so important to involve Parliament. And then the seventh reflection I've got is the value of engagement, collaboration, and coalitions. And of course, all of you in the room are on a journey together, together with us at the British High Commission. There's so much value in bringing people together to have these difficult debates, to have the exchange. I've enjoyed seeing how people in the room are interacting with people on stage here. It's so valuable, and particularly so when the political temperature is high, as it is in Pakistan at the moment. You know, how much more do we need consensus now on issues like education? And then my eighth reflection is around this question of elite capture and ensuring that the right voices are in the right room at the right time. Again, this is not a problem that is unique to Pakistan, the question of political will to get education policy right. But it is very pertinent for Pakistan, I would say. So I'll leave it there. Finally, I just want to say, you know, today it's International Women's Day. I'm wearing purple. Many of you in the room are wearing purple. So finishing with a sort of feminist point, that, you know, if I'm going to do anything, if I'm going to make a commitment myself now, how do I take away the reflections of this conference? What am I going to work on? The key thing for me is the focus on girls' education. It's been a long-standing focus of the British government, of course, but I think the last 2 days have really crystallised the importance of girls' education for me personally, and I was really interested to hear the panel this morning discussing just how far-ranging the impacts of 12 quality years of girls' education can be, not only on a girl's life, but on the health of her future family, on the economic growth of her community and of her province and even of the nation, and even the climate resilience of Pakistan depends on the quality of education that girls receive here. So that is what I'm going to commit to focus on. You will all be making your own commitments, what you will take away from this conference. But overall, just a huge thanks to you all for your really, really positive engagement over the last 2 days. It's been absolutely brilliant, and it just shows the value of getting together after the 2 years of COVID when none of us could meet. What a wonderful thing it is to get everybody in the room again.